RWBY fans, and welcome to the Boopcast episode 14. Sorry about the repeating audio in the background there. We're a little bit behind this morning and a little bit disorganized. We are your hosts, SheNoob and...
Cory.
Cory. I never remember which way it is. I've always got to look at the playback. And today, of course...
No, you're that way.
That way. Oh, you can't see me. Doesn't matter. Today, of course, we are discussing the Blake character short and more of RWBY Chibi Season 2 as well. Hello, Cinder. Welcome to the stream. If you're watching this on YouTube currently, this podcast is live streamed on Twitch, and it's at twitch.tv/SheNoob087, and I will put the link in the description if you want to catch future live streams. Please let me know, everyone, if the audio is okay and all of that. Hello, Chozo. Welcome. As always, because this podcast is now live streamed, you can ask all your questions in the live chat, so there's no need to post questions on Twitter ahead of time, but if you want to, you can, and we will save them. Audio's fine. Great! Awesome! Okay, so I'm just gonna tweet that we're live while, Cory starts this thing off.
Oh, great. I told you, I'm so unprepared for this.
Cory doesn't have any notes because he hasn't had time to write any. I've got them all. Let's start off with Chibi Season 2. So, since doing the Weiss character short stream, hello, Stockgold. They have added at least 4 new characters. I couldn't remember if there are any more, but Oobleck, Crow, Taiyang, and Winter have all joined the Chibi cast. So,
and Port. Well, no, Port was in the very last one we saw.
That's true. Yeah, Port was in there briefly before, wasn't he? Was he in Season 1?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Wow. Yeah, so do you want to talk about Chibi for a little bit while I...
Well, what was the last one we discussed? I can't remember.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. It was like 6 or 7?
Yeah.
If any of you remember, please tell us. We're so disorganized today.
I know, we really are. I think the last one we
dreadful.
talked about was Evil Class, which was episode 8?
Yes, that sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, it was an even number. It was definitely an even number.
Yeah, so then that means that the next one is Boy Band. I'm literally just looking on the wiki right now. So that was the one that included Pet Party, Tie-Dye, and Boy Band.
Yes.
Yeah, and Pet Party was so funny.
It was.
You know, we're having a pet party.
Wink,
and
wink,
Nora's
nudge,
like, ooh,
nudge.
Awesome. And then it's not like you're taking him to the vet.
Oh, poor Zwei. Do you
I know.
like, people go on about dogs hating to go to the vet, but both my parents' dog and my dog love the vet. That's so weird.
Yeah, my dog has this weird thing where she's like, I'm really excited, but also really scared, so she kind of just does this.
Yeah, so Pet Party, and, gosh, how many episodes of Chibi have there been now? Are we up to, like, 17?
17 was the most recent.
Oh my gosh. That's gone so quick.
I know. It really has.
Oh, hello, William. Twitch again did not tell him we were live. Okay. So yeah. Basically, I want to talk about, as far as Chibi goes, Crow and Taiyang, because I think they've been my favourite addition to Chibi so far.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how much I love Crow and RWBY proper.
Mm-hmm.
We won't get into that, but... Crow in RWBY Chibi has just been something else entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favourite Chibi skit so far has been the one where Taiyang imitates Crow. It's so funny. So funny. And seeing Taiyang with Crow's hairdo was just strange. Hello, Pisky and Waterbender. Welcome to the stream. I can't actually see how many of you... Oh, 5. Okay, good. Yeah, and Winter, of course, is a relatively new addition, but she has been a wonderful addition as well, because we don't get enough of Winter and RWBY proper. We've had lots of Crow and RWBY proper. recently, and a bit of Taiyang, but no Winter, and that depresses me. But she's coming back in Volume 5, so that's...
Yeah.
And she was in the short. Yes. Anything else about Chibi that you want to talk about? Because I've run out of things to say.
I don't know. I love seeing Tai in Chibi because, like I've talked about on previous episodes, I feel like we heard so much about how eccentric and weird Tai was in show proper, like in the first 2 seasons, and then, you know, we finally meet him, and it was all just kind of so dark, and like he definitely had his like weird, funny dad moments, but it was still kind of like, you know, dark. So that's why I like seeing him in Chibi, because I'm like, okay, this is actually just Tai.
Yeah, it's like we didn't get to see enough of Tai's eccentric side in show proper. Yeah. Oh, AC just reminded us of something no one wants to be reminded about.
No,
Crow's Speedo.
In the most recent episode too.
It will never be unseen. That was just a part of Crow. Like, Crow in a Speedo and RWBY proper, sure, I'm all about it. But in Chibi, it's just a little bit weird. No.
No.
Yeah, the only other time we got to see a bit of Tai's eccentric side is when he sends White in the mail to the girls in Volume 2. My god, that was ages ago.
I know, right?
Stockgold says Chibi season started in April and it's still going. Yeah, that's because last year Chibi actually started a couple weeks earlier than it did this year. So it's going a couple weeks later, and of course RWBY's starting a week earlier this year than it did last year. So it's all much closer together as far as the gap between Chibi and show proper. I don't think there is a gap between Chibi and show proper this year. Is there?
I don't think so. They haven't announced actually how many episodes there are.
No.
But I mean,
if there's 24,
18 comes out this weekend.
This weekend, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. There's not going to be 24, or it'd still be going when show proper starts. So
yeah, so there'll probably only be 22 episodes.
22.
So I feel like they'll want the even
18,
number.
19, 20, 21, 22. So if there's 22, it's going to end the weekend before show proper starts. So there's going to be zero gap. Can't claw them out fast enough, you mean our eyes, yeah. Crow, I thought the girl said Crow had good legs. Yes, well, I didn't want to see them quite in that manner. He does in proper, no one's got legs in Chibi. Fair point. Yeah, so fire out those questions, guys, to do with Chibi or to do with the Blake character short, if you have anything that you're just dying to know what we think of. It's hard doing reactions to RWBY stuff now because we do the podcast. Because, like, in the reactions, I feel like I have to stop myself from saying anything too significant. Because I'm like, I gotta save it for the podcast. But,
I mean, just in this... I mean, this short was also just so dialogue-heavy that it was kind of...
Yeah.
It was just hard to find things to say.
It was... Well, we both ended up having to watch it twice in our reactions because we were like, oh, I missed so much there. What the hell were they talking about?
Well, I mean, on my first time through, I was so busy listening that I just kind of didn't see anything.
On my first run through, I was trying to listen and then found I'd missed half of what she said. Because I was just looking at it and I was like, it's so pretty! Walks in quietly from the side of her. Ew! Gross. No! No.
We just didn't want to see it in that manner.
No! Like
just no.
And, like, having a cape on with a Speedo is just weird. But then again...
It is weird.
He probably would have looked really weird without the cape as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Ozpin without his glasses. We didn't quite know what was wrong, but something was wrong.
Yeah, I know. That when we saw that the first time, I just sat there and I was like, something's not right. There's just something not right. Sorry,
AC just pointed something out. I was wondering, why the hell was Ty wearing his cargo shorts in the water? Why didn't Ty have a swimsuit on? Come on, if it's alright for Crow, it's alright for Ty, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. You could kind of first watch through, you could either watch it or listen. You couldn't really do both because there was so much to take in.
Yeah.
Oh, now Twitch tells you it's live. Yeah, we've only been going for 12 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Would have been weirder if he wasn't wearing them. You're correct, but the show is G rated, so.
Yes. No, please.
Please, yes. Please, no. Okay. I think that pretty much covers Chibi. Weiss and Winter's skits just make me really happy. For some reason.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for Weiss in them, though, because she's, like, tries so hard to seek her sister's approval, and her sister is just such an indifferent bitch.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't see. Yeah.
Yeah, I also just loved the Thai vlog.
Oh my god, that was such a dig at Bernie, and I loved it.
Yes, it was. It was so funny.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the list of the things now.
I can't remember most of them. I only remember the ones that I really laughed at. One thing I do want to say, actually, is the quality of the skits this season compared to last season has been exponentially better. But, like, the last 2 episodes or so, I've just gone, that was just a little bit weird. And I'm not sure that I liked that.
Nurse Nora.
I liked Nurse Nora. That was funny. But the last couple of episodes, I don't even remember what the skits were. Neptune Noir, that episode.
Oh, I wasn't really a big fan of Neptune Noir.
No, I wasn't
Man Up
either.
with Port was in that one, and then Ty's Tech Vlog was at the end of that
funny,
one.
But the first 2 skits were, I didn't laugh. I was like, yeah, that was okay. But, like, compared to the skits that had come before it, it was a bit of a... and what was the one after that?
Yeah, the most recent was Rolling Thunder.
What was in that one? Don't remember.
I don't even remember. Rolling Thunder.
Have we seen it?
Well, it was Rolling Thunder, Computer Virus, and The Mystery Bunch.
Oh, that's right. Computer Virus was okay.
Oh, I thought Computer Virus was really stupid.
I mean, it was so short. I don't remember the first and last skits in that episode at all. So
The Mystery Bunch was with the junior detectives came up against the Mystery Bunch.
Scooby-Doo
It was
thing.
blatant Scooby-Doo ripoff.
Yeah. No, I never watched Scooby-Doo, so I cannot relate to that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was a perfect imitation of Scooby-Doo.
I'm sorry. I just noticed I have an enormous red spot in the middle of my nose. And now that's all you're gonna see for the rest of the podcast. You're welcome. Haven't seen 17 yet. Yeah, for the this is a Chibi episode only available to first members. No, they go up on Sundays for first members.
The Mystery Bunch is still only available to first members.
Is it?
Yeah. They come out a week later.
Oh, for the public. Since when have they been doing that?
Forever.
Really? I thought it was a day early. Oh, it's a day early for show proper, isn't it? Because I know.
Well, actually, I think you can still watch it for the public on Rooster Teeth's site, but it doesn't go up on YouTube.
That's what I mean, on the site. Yeah. On the site, it goes up for first members on Sunday and for the public on Monday, and then goes on YouTube a week after. So, what was I doing in makeup? I wasn't doing makeup. That's the problem. I literally got up 5 minutes before the podcast started because it's 8:49 in the morning and I don't get up this early ever except for the podcast. Somebody in the actual RWBY wiki, Nurse Nora was a reference to another anime or book. Okay, Mirai Nikki, I don't understand that reference.
I'm really trying to remember what Rolling Thunder was in that episode, and I just don't know.
Yeah, I know it's been a week early for the Rooster Teeth site to YouTube, but I was wondering about first members to public on the site. But that's a day early.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hasn't been going up for account members until a week later. I was not aware of this because I'm a first member and I've been a first member for years. So
yeah,
Stephen King's Misery. Oh my god! Don't even get me started on Stephen King right now. Dude is fucked in the head. I was watching Carrie the other day, the film adaptation, because I read Carrie for university, and I didn't like it. So I watched the film, and I didn't like that either.
Did you watch the original or the remake?
All three. I watched the 1976, the 2002, and the 2011.
I didn't even know there was a 2002.
The 2002 is awful. The 1976 was really weird and cheesy. The 2011 was okay, but at the start of Chibi Season 2, they changed it to a week. I vaguely remember them saying something about that, but because I'm a first member, it doesn't apply to me, so I didn't notice. Yeah, I have to be honest, I watched the first episode of Camp Camp, and I wasn't into it. I have got to try and watch it again, but yeah, I didn't get it, to be perfectly honest.
Hopefully see you later, William.
Bye, William. Later episodes get better. Yeah, I've heard the finale of the second season was amazing. So
yeah,
maybe
I heard a lot of
back
chatter within the community after the season finale of Camp Camp Season 2. A lot of people were like, eee!
Now that Game of Thrones is ending, I need more stuff to watch. I'm so sad. Although, the last season's not coming out till friggin' September of next year, but... Miles can sing, yeah. This surprises a lot of people.
I mean...
Season 2 is
it fits with him.
I'll try and get back into it. Back on topic. So, the Blake character short. I don't know what to talk about first. Let's start with Menagerie, shall we? I've got a list here.
Okay.
So they released a couple of GIFs ahead of time, if people follow Rooster Teeth on Twitter and Facebook. And it gave away that it was set in Menagerie, set in the present, and that Sun was in it. And that there would be some kind of confrontation. And then before the short was posted, when they posted the description on the Rooster Teeth site, it mentioned Blake's past with the White Fang, and hinted at the fact that Ilya would be in it. So, and her friends, yes. So, we knew ahead of time that Sun and Ilya were going to be in it, and that Ilya was probably going to be... There was going to be some kind of backstory-related thing. But and
that's what I predicted in the first one, I was like, Ilya's going to be in it.
You did,
and I was right.
You're always right, and it ticks me off. Because I just go, I don't know. I don't like to make predictions because I found that RWBY often does the opposite of what I'm thinking it's going to do. I don't know why. Like, if it's Game of Thrones, I can predict things that happen episodes ahead. But RWBY, I'm like, I'm just not even going to bother. When it was back in, season 1 or 2, it was very predictable. But then they dropped the last 3 episodes of season 3 on us, and I went, I have no idea what the show's about.
Yeah.
I know for a fact the remake was 2013. 2013, sorry. Yeah, I've never heard of The Stand before, but... Oh, Pyrrha becomes a maid and saves people, but it's spoilers. I don't know if
spoilers for a season ago.
2 seasons ago now, but
Yeah.
We're almost at volume 5. Oh my gosh, it's almost here. It's the 8th of September. It's a month and a week away.
Yeah.
Are Faunus naturals at combat? I'll talk about the Faunus a bit, seeing as there were many of them in this short, not episode. So I want to talk about the setting of Menagerie for the character short. We have only seen Menagerie so far in volume 4. It's early. And seeing it from then until this short, there's already been massive improvements in the way it looks. All the textures and colours have gotten a huge facelift. If you look at the houses in the background, they actually have a diagonal wood pattern on the outside, which is really cool. It's it's a parquetry pattern on the wood, which is I love that. Hello, William. He's back already. We both talked about this before, but I want to mention that looking around in the crowd of Faunus in Menagerie, there wasn't a single person that looked the same. I mean, different people were wearing similar outfits, but every time they wore the same outfit, it was a different color. Every time they had the same hair, it was a different color. There were various different skin tones. I find it interesting that the Faunus all have such a wide variety of skin tones, just the same as people do, which I suppose makes sense. But when you see them all living in the same spot, all these different kinds of Faunus, it's really interesting. Culturally, they're as dynamic as people are, or probably more dynamic than people are. I have a theory on the true origin of the Faunus. Yeah. Sun got a small upgrade to his semblance. He was able to use it and move while it was active. He's done that before. He was able
to do that in Volume 4. He did that during the fight with the...
Yeah, during the fight with the sea dragon. His own semblance launched him in the air. So, yeah.
It seems that the key is he can only do about 2 and move.
He did...
Or 2 or 3. Well, he did 3 when they threw him into the air. And then he made a 4th after that.
There was 3 that tossed him and Blake up, and then there was 1 more in the air. There was 4.
I wonder why he didn't move when he was having those 3 jump on Ilya. Maybe it's because he needed them. I think that was
5 or 6, actually.
Was it 5 or 6?
If you look at it, there's a lot more. He yelled at Blake while pinning down Ilya. Yeah. I feel like it's a matter of exertion with his semblance. Probably. Because his I don't know what to call them, apparitions were holding down Ilya, actually pushing against another force. It was exerting him. But, and same deal with the cart in the short, like, he only had 2, and he had to help them hold the thingy. Yeah, he's improving, basically, over time, as they all do. There was only 4. Yeah. I could have sworn there was, like, 5 or 6. Is that a pun? The puns stop there. Pisky and Waterbender says I could get behind that. I don't know if that's a pun, but they stop now. Oh, it's too early for puns. That's not nice. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Menagerie.
Yeah, I was like, semblance. Wait, no, you were talking about something before that.
I don't know. Yeah, so the cultural dynamics in the Faunus is really cool to see. I'm going to be actually sad if we're leaving Menagerie soon and show proper if Blake heads to Mistral. What I found interesting was that my prediction for this Blake short was that this was going to be bridging the gap between end of Volume 4, where Blake is still in Menagerie, and beginning of Volume 5, where she'd be heading to Mistral. But she didn't leave Menagerie in the short. Because I didn't expect the flashback element, so...
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that it still took place in Menagerie. Because it was, once again, I was like you and I had talked about, it was like, if they put her already in Haven, or even just within the Mistral region, like, you know, it at least puts her closer to there, whereas opposed to now we have to, like, they kind of have to find a way to factor in travel time for her to actually get there.
Yes, and it's going to take up screen time in the first
yeah, AC, we will be doing that later.
Yeah, we will talk about Yang trailer predictions at the end. Piskian says the pun was not intentional, and I'm my own worst enemy. Leave me alone, it's 9 a.m. Conflicted with Ilya's commitment to the cause, she hurt Sun, could have killed him, yet she fights for the Faunus. Yeah, the thing about that is, though, that Blake and Sun were a direct threat to Ilya at the time. And
also, she only attacked him because, like, Sun was basically annoying her, was the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, she was, like, focused on Blake, and Sun kept yelling things and saying things, and she just kind of went, "Urgh."
And as we've previously established, members of the White Fang aren't the most stable of individuals. Adam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I broke their teeth, like...
I broke their teeth, yeah, exactly. That line tells you everything you need to know. Speaking of faunus, I want to ask, what animals aside from dogs do you think actually exist in the RWBYverse? Like animals. Well, they've actually talked about animals in the show a few times. Well, there's dogs. Have we seen any cats? I feel like we might have, but now I'm thinking maybe not. I'm not even sure. Yeah, exactly. Like, Ilya's logic is obviously not really there. She's just an angry Ursa. Ursa? Angry faunus! I read William's comment that said Ursa, and I said Ursa. Boopcast.
Are there...
So, that's a good question. I'm assuming that they do. We've seen lots of birds. We've seen why. God, now I'm trying to think if we've seen any other animals in show proper. I really don't think we have. Just the Grimm, but they don't really count. Yeah, I mean, like, every faunus is based on an animal that I assume exists in the RWBYverse.
Yeah, because, I mean, it feels like for them to have, like, animal traits, like, those animals would have... Amber had a horse.
Amber had a horse, point, yes, you're correct, she did.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be, in order for them to, like, you know, be able to, like, even Roman's joke about, an exterminator, like, clearly exterminators are a thing in this world, and, like, so they deal with they deal with rodents, so, like...
Yes.
They must be there, it's just, we just don't see them.
We don't see them. What about the Goliaths? If elephants exist, why not use that expression? Because it's a Grimm, it's not an elephant, so... they're not going to call it the Grimm elephant. It's the same reason why... Well,
no, but he's talking about why... He's talking about Oobleck's quote of, are we finally talking about the Goliath in the room? And why wouldn't he say elephant?
Because, are we finally talking about the Goliath in the room? Because he's a hunter, and...
Probably.
That's kind of, you know, like... I don't think Oobleck would have ever probably seen a real elephant. So,
plus, also, who's to say that, like, the types of animals they have aren't just, like, domesticated kinds?
There are cows and, like, in Chibi. Yes, you're correct. And there are fish. Yes.
Yeah. But then again, haven't we seen faunus with bear ears before? Haven't we seen that?
We've seen all kinds of faunus.
So, there must be bears then. I don't know. This is a terrible tangent to get into, because we will keep going on this.
No, there's no way all the animals have gone extinct. That, like... Yeah, they have roasted turkeys and chicken nuggets. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so there's, like, references to animals, but we haven't actually physically seen very many animals in the show at all. Swordfish, yep. Good point. Turkeys. Yay, turkeys! Yeah, so there are... I just assume that every faunus type that exists in RWBYverse, there is an animal that exists of that same type also. Yeah. So, as far as the improvements from Volume 4 to the Weiss and Blake character shorts so far, I didn't talk much about this in the Weiss short stream, because the Weiss short was unique in that it was all set at night, and nighttime changes the way lighting and shadows work. Sloths, cattle, dogs, wolves, horses, pigs, donkeys, bears, cats. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just assume that they have animals. So, yeah, exactly. The biggest improvements I've seen have been to do with the dynamic lighting and the shadows and the physics engine, especially. In the Weiss short, because there was a wind pretty much constantly blowing, the way that Weiss's hair and clothes interacted with that wind was incredible. Not like anything they've done in the show before. And same in the Blake short, there was, you know, moments where there was a breeze and everything was reacting in a very realistic way. It's really impressive to see every volume how much they improve. and disregarding the jump from Volume 3 to Volume 4, because obviously they moved to a new engine entirely, the jump from Volume 4 to Volume 5 is already distinguishable, and Volume 5 hasn't even started. So, if you think about it, animation production on Volume 4 wrapped sometime around, I want to say January, end of January, I think it was. Or early January. It wrapped sometime in January, I think. And then, the Weiss...
I thought it was February. I don't know.
Well, the last episode came out the first weekend of February, because that was RTX Sydney.
That's true.
So,
yeah,
they wouldn't have wrapped animation that late, because there's still render and compositing and blah, 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 all of that shit that comes after animation.
Episode 7 came out on Christmas Eve.
Yes, it did.
So would that give them enough time for it to come out the first weekend of February? It must have.
It must have.
Because then
I think we had a week break in there somewhere. I feel like we had a break. I feel like there was a week break somewhere, but what was I saying? Yeah, so the Weiss character short was released the first weekend of July at RTX Austin, and at that point it was finished. So for Volume 4 to have wrapped principal production in January, to then have this incredible 5-minute long short come out in July, production on the short itself would have started sometime around March, April, I want to say. So there really wasn't that big of a break between animating Volume 4 and animating Volume 5. So the amount that they managed to improve it in that short amount of time is incredible. It looks amazing. I'm amazed every year at how good the show looks. And then by the time we get to Volume 9 or whatever, I'm going to go, Volume 5 looked awful. Ah!
I know, right?
I literally, I just, I didn't just film. Some time ago, I filmed Jenna reacting to all of Volume 1 of RWBY, and I just finished editing it. It's taken me a long time to edit, because it was 2 hours long!
At the time, we knew that Volume 1 looked a little crap.
Yeah, at the time we knew, okay, this doesn't look the best, but watching Volume 1 again after having just finished Volume 4 was excruciating. I think I said this looks terrible about 5 times. It just looks shocking. But, if you don't mind, let's go back to Volume 4, Episode 1. Salem mentions to bring back RWBY alive. Question is why I may have a small theory that the reason why she wants her back alive is because she's got to pull a Naruto by taking RWBY's silver eyes, and I hope that's not the case. I feel like that's a little far-fetched. I feel like the reason that Salem would want RWBY alive is because she has silver eyes, but I feel like she'd want to try and what's the word? Turn RWBY to the dark side, for want of a better expression.
Yeah. I feel like it either, I feel like she'd either want her to just continue Cinder's training to, I don't know, just make her more evil, be like, listen, I brought you the person who maimed you, kill her. She'd want to, use her.
Let's not pretend that anybody understands Salem's endgame, because we don't.
Yeah. Because at this point, all we know is that she wants relics, and she wants to control the maidens, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think eye magic works the same in RWBY as it does in Naruto. Probably not.
True.
Back on topic.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about the running animation, because in Volume 4, the animations for characters running, specifically Nora in Episode 1, Ren in Episode 2... there were a few other instances that I can't think of off the top of my head, but it was very jerky and very just not good. In the Blake character short, it was so much better. It was smooth, it looked realistic, it was fluid, it was fabulous. I loved it.
Yeah.
The
only part of the running I found kind of awkward was when the person that they were chasing when he ran up to the intersection and he suddenly stopped and turned around to shoot. I felt like his momentum just, like he had a lot of forward momentum and it just stopped.
Yeah.
And that was why I was kind of like, you know, that was the only part where I was like, oh, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, a little bit. To their credit though, these shorts are animated incredibly, and obviously a lot more work is going to go into each individual short than is going to go into the entirety of Volume 5, because that's a much bigger undertaking. They're not going to have as much detail as the shorts do, so I think to hold Volume 5 to the standard the shorts have been at is probably a little unfair. So, but we'll see. We'll see. They may surprise us. If Tyrion managed to carve out Ruby's eye, would he be able to replace his own? Okay, that's getting way too deep for me.
We don't know anything about silver eye powers.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying because we hear so much talk about it, but I was expecting Volume 4 to kind of take that and run with it a bit more, and it didn't. And I don't see Volume 5 doing it either. So
yeah, in the lead up to episode 8 of Volume 4, where it was clear we were going to have an exposition-y episode, I was really hoping that was where we would finally learn more about Silver Eyes. But did they ever mention the word Silver Eyes outside the first episode?
Yes,
between the Salem's Council?
In that episode, in the exposition episode, Crow says to Ruby, I told you having silver eyes is a rare trait, and the fact that you're someone who was able to use them seems to have upset some powerful people. So he did mention it, but I think the thing is they don't actually know how silver eyes work. Like, they don't understand enough about them to really give a more detailed explanation. But
yeah,
I don't know. I wish Crow would give Ruby a bit more guidance on that. Or maybe he can't. Maybe he just doesn't know what guidance to give her, because Summer was the one who had silver eyes. So,
or maybe it's just a thing where, like he said, you know, her using her eyes once has already attracted the attention of powerful people. Like, if she continues to use them, you know, maybe it's safer if he just tries to leave it as like a one-time occurrence.
Yes, maybe he is holding back on that for the sake of Ruby's safety. And, like, using them that one time was only because of a huge surge of emotion, and it knocked it for 6. So,
yeah.
Yeah, the dragon's still up there, I just realised.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that dragon in a long time.
Well, they never mentioned it in Volume 4, not once. So, even, like, Oobleck and Port didn't say anything about it. That's weird. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to the short. Yeah, I talked about the textures, but I noticed there were things like the grass on the ground in the background. It looked really good. Blake's ears. I love Blake's cat ears, but I noticed in this short in particular, the small little subtle twitches that they were making, and when Ilya jumps up on the roof at the end and Blake's ear twitches in the direction of the sound before she looks at it, was really cute. And
that was cool. Cute. Yeah, it's once again the same. It's why I like that she took off her bow in Volume 4, is because finally they can utilize her ears.
Yeah, because it's part of her personality, and it's I feel like it's been a huge improvement to Blake's overall expression, because she hasn't been very expressive in the past. But the ears basically give away what she's feeling. So it's been, and I think my favorite ear animation was in Volume 4, Episode 3, on the boat after the fight, where she screams at Sun, "Have you been following me?" And her ears go. I love that. It's so cute. I just I can't take her seriously when she's angry anymore, because her ears are like, I'm like, it's so cute. If that dragon does eventually unthaw, it will possibly be even more pissed off. Yeah, probably. With the first gunshot, several faunus actually ducked. Yes, the crowd. I want to talk about the crowd. So, the interaction with the crowd, to the events that were occurring between Blake and Son and this unnamed Faunus. If he's got a name, I'm sorry, I don't know it. But
he doesn't.
Okay, yeah.
Ilya's associate is what he's listed as.
But the interaction with the crowd, like, the crowd were reacting realistically to what was happening, and they were backing out of the way when the Faunus was moving towards them. They were leaping out of the way and running away, and it was really cool to see, because there's not been crowd work like that in RWBY before. There's not really been many crowds. The only crowds we've really seen were the audience in the Colosseum. So a lot of these people were not even turned in that same direction, though. Yeah, further in the background. Further in the background, like way far in the background. But in the foreground and in the like sort of mid-ground, they were all turned towards the action, and they were all reacting in some way.
Mm-hmm. But I just like how they did treat them. They were very like real in their reactions. Where like the people in immediate danger, fled or hid or
backed away or hid. Yeah.
But people who were like not really in that much danger were watching, and that's absolutely what crowds of people would do. Is they would be like, "What's happening?
What's going on over there? Ooh, people are getting shot at. This is interesting. Nothing ever happens on Menagerie."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was all really cool. So, we need to talk about Ilya. Because this was more of an Ilya character short than a Blake character short.
Well, as I said in my reaction.
I feel like everybody has said this, but...
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing that was most prominent for me coming out of this short was that Ilya was probably Blake's inspiration for attending Beacon Academy. Because Ilya talks about going to this Atlas prep school because her Faunus traits inherently aren't obvious, so she can get away with looking human, more or less. So she went to this Atlas prep school, and she had to pretend to be human, which is probably where Blake got the idea to cover up her ears and go to Beacon and pretend to be like everyone else. Even though, like, Vale is a vastly different place from Atlas. Like, Atlas is obviously still a very discriminatory place towards the Faunus. Whereas Beacon, like, Ozpin says to her in Volume 2, we accept all kinds of people, and why do you hide who you are, and all that sort of shit. So, Vale is more accepting, or just Beacon, not necessarily Vale in general, but Beacon was definitely more accepting of Faunus students, whereas Atlas wouldn't even admit them unless they could pass for not being Faunus, which is disgusting,
Nyan Cat, very obviously a Faunus, and she was an Atlas kid.
Who's talking
something
about?
A lot of people were, Neon Cat.
Neon, yeah, Neon Cat. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to read and listen at the same time, and it's not working.
Yeah, a lot of people are pointing out that like there's this weird, granted, I'm sure that Neon's probably had her fair share of discrimination.
Yes.
But I don't think that it's necessarily a case of that they don't allow Faunus. It's just that it's probably a lot harder for Faunus.
That's true. She's a Faunus and she's at Atlas Academy. So, I mean, Atlas Academy being a Huntsman Academy probably can't be as picky as, the prep schools and the high schools and the combat schools of Atlas. Yeah. I assume that Huntsman Academies just take who they can get. Because they're desperate for huntsmen.
Yeah.
So, in that case, because she went to an Atlas prep school, I feel like they're really picky about who they admit. And Faunus typically don't make the cut. So there's a lot of discrimination going on in Atlas still, which isn't surprising, really. There's also a picture of Neon in a school uniform and her tail's wrapped around her waist. Huh? Where is this?
It's probably fan art.
Oh. Okay. Detecting a hint of racism from Atlas. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've pretty much talked about just how racist Atlas is, like, in the high society party.
Yeah, we hear Papa Schnee talking about the Faunus workers in the mines, in the dust mines. in Volume 4.
Plus, also just hearing about their backstory and like they were very like, I mean, Atlas society as a whole was very oppressive for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes sense that there's some racism still hanging around there.
Yeah, and the fact that they like Faunus either have the choice of joining the White Fang or working in the dust mines is pretty atrocious. Like slave driving, basically. Like, you're a Faunus? Oh, your future is going to be working in the dust mines. Like, fuck off. Like,
yeah, I talked about that in my reaction, Pisky, and I was annoyed by it too because like they had this important shot of her throwing it, and then it cuts to and it's gone.
They didn't show her getting it back. Yeah, that was a little bit annoying. It did irk me a bit. I don't think I noticed it until like my third or fourth watch. Actually, I think I noticed it when I watched your reaction because you were like, "Where did her weapon go?" I was like, "Where did her weapon go?" Yeah, there's, I mean, a small thing, but
yeah, it's something that happens all the time in RWBY, and it's just kind of one of those things you kind of have to get used to because, especially just with the way that Blake's weapon works, like they're not going to spend all this time her pulling it back or anything.
No. The shot of like her throwing it out at that guy's feet, and as the camera tracked it in, was one of the coolest shots I've seen in RWBY.
Yeah.
I love that shot. I can't even explain why. It was just really cool looking.
It was so dynamic, and it was also like just, I feel like it really just summed up Blake's weapon, kind of. And I don't know, I agree. Like when that shot happened, every time I watch that part, I'm just like, that's so cool.
Stock Gold says fucking Civil War all over again. Are you talking about Captain America's shield? Because I haven't seen Civil War. So, or Captain America.
Well, but
Captain America, anything.
In Captain America, they explained that he has like a magnetized thing, so that's why his shield can always come back.
Yeah, like Pyrrha.
Yeah.
Essentially. I love that Jenna kept calling Pyrrha Discount Wonder Woman.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, actually, kind of.
She's the invincible girl.
Yeah. I mean, she's only seen Volume 1. She will learn to love these characters, but I won't say... Yeah. You've got to watch Jenna reacting to Volume 1. It is so funny. It's actually hilarious. Ilya using the gun function for hitting the pulley. Yeah, I didn't realize her weapon had a gun function until that moment.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I think that she did it is because she was like... I mean, she was arming her gun to shoot Blake, and then last second was like, no, I can't do this. But she needed to keep Blake from pursuing. She needed to give her time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, William.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes... It's going to be coming out soon, okay? Jenna is coming up 2 weeks from now to film more stuff with me, film more Sims 4, film more vlogs, and probably film her watching Volume 2. So it's going to go up between now and then. So it will be up soon. It will probably be up. I don't want to say it's going to be up next week, because then I won't post it and y'all will yell at me. So I'm not going to say it's going to be up next week, but I will try to put it up next week. Damn it. Now it's not going to go up next week. Okay, so... Wow, I've zoomed through this list. Forever Fall was in the background in the flashback bit with Blake and Ilya. You could see the red trees in the background. So they were on some random roof on some random building in the middle of Forever Fall.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed as well. Is I was like, did the White Fang have a base in Forever Fall? Because like when we saw them in Volume 3... They just had like a little camp. But now there's a giant building.
Where was that camp anyways?
That was in Forever Fall.
Was it?
Yeah, because they had the red-leaved trees.
Oh! Yeah, no,
and it was the day before the Black
I'm
trailer.
thinking about when they meet Mercury. That wasn't in Forever Fall.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't.
Yeah, no. So they must have had this base in Forever Fall. Yeah. So I wonder if the conversation between Blake and Ilya. Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. It was obviously before the train because then Blake left the White Fang after that. Duh. But I wonder how long before it was. Like, was it years? Was it months? Was it a matter of days? It's yeah. And is it important? Is there a reason that Forever Fall was shown there, or was it just like linking past events together?
I think it was just there to show, because like it's the one place we know that Blake, like we associate with Blake and the White Fang is Forever Fall. So I feel like it's probably just like, well, we already know she was there, so why not make it so like she was there for a long time?
It's not necessarily strange that Ilya came from Atlas to go to Vale, though that begs the question. So, we know that around the time that events of Show Proper started, the White Fang was based in Vale because they were planning to attack Beacon. So, all of the, I can't think of the word, but like all of the White Fang sort of associates would have relocated to Vale because of this big plan happening. But probably, I imagine Ilya was reassigned after the fall of Beacon to Menagerie.
Yeah, because... but I feel like why wouldn't we have seen her in...
Yeah, okay, so maybe she was reassigned somewhere between the Blake trailer and the fall of Beacon.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is, like, I mean, she obviously worked really well as a spy. Like, that's clearly what she's very good at. And she clearly has contacts in Menagerie and stuff. So who's to say that, like, Adam didn't just send her there earlier to, like, listen, we're gonna need to, we're gonna need to do something in Menagerie, start, building contacts and recruiting and stuff there.
Or if she was sent there or went there of her own accord purely because they heard that Blake was there. That's a possibility as well.
I meant more during the actual proper show, and like more specifically, like kind of during the fall of Beacon, or during the whole, like even just during the train in season 2. Like you feel like a person who is seemingly as important as Ilya would be there. And granted, I get the point that she probably didn't, like, her character probably didn't exist yet, but like still there has to be. They wouldn't just leave it in the air of like, oh, she wasn't there because we hadn't thought of her yet. They'd give a reason.
Why do you not trust Gira, William? That seems like a strange person not to trust of all choices.
Well, he's quoting, like, that's probably what Adam was like, I think. It's probably why he would send her to...
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
There.
Yes, so... And it was a treat to see Blake's original outfit in the new... art style in the new render, because we got to see Weiss's in her character shorts. So I was secretly hoping to see Blake's, and now I really hope we'll see Yang's. Even though I wasn't that fond of Yang's original outfit, but I still hope we get to see it for nostalgia's sake. Cory's got it. Yeah, there you go. I'm losing my voice. Oh no! Quick, we better wrap this up. So Ilya and Blake obviously had a very close relationship during their time together in the White Fang. The Albane twins mentioned to Blake that Ilya will be delighted to know that she's returned. Or delighted if she returns to the White Fang. So they were very close, obviously, and this conversation between them about why Ilya is in the White Fang shows their closeness and explains why they kind of refuse to hurt one another. But Ilya, Blake still, like, she doesn't want to fight Ilya, but I feel like if it comes to it, she will do what she has to, because Ilya did hurt Sun and could have very easily killed him. And I don't think Blake can forgive her for doing that.
But this is clearly still after that, and she still didn't pursue her. Which is why I feel like she's gonna need... Like, the only reason she fought her the first time is because Sun initiated it, and she just had to go for it.
And she didn't necessarily know it was
and then again, she also didn't know it was Ilya then still. So yeah.
Even though she's wearing the same outfit, has the same hair, and is a chameleon. See, this shits me about RWBY, because apparently people putting masks on means that the characters no longer fucking recognize them, Cinder in Volume 2. So annoying!
No, seriously, yeah, I mean, that is so annoying that, like, RWBY and Glinda, neither one of them were like, this student with, you know, super nice hair and, you know, name alludes to fire and stuff, and they must just be a random exchange student. Also, they look too old to be going to school.
They're such idiots. Like, seriously, it's so annoying. But, like, RWBY meets Cinder face to face, talks to her at the beginning of Volume 2, and then doesn't recognize her when she has a tiny little eye mask on. Like, come on! Seriously. And then, not only that, but then Cinder is fighting in the tournament in Volume 3, and RWBY still doesn't know who she is. It's so frustrating. But it's the same deal here with, like, suddenly Ilya puts a mask on that covers her eyes, and Blake's like, oh, look, a chameleon. Who are you? Fucking hell, Blake. Like, seriously. It's so frustrating.
No, she's like, a spy.
A spy. Ooh, a spy that can blend in and change colour. I wonder who this could be. Who used to wear a jumpsuit?
Yeah.
Stupid.
I knew someone that did
this. So frustrating. Yes, her damn clothing lit up about Cinder. Exactly! It's so annoying. Also, Cinder blocked RWBY's bullets in the exact same manner that she did in the very first episode of the show, and RWBY still went, ooh, who's this? Herp derp.
Well, I mean, she did, when she was talking to Osmond later, she did kind of go, oh, you know, kind of like that person that from, you know, the beginning. But it's just, the thing is, it's stupid that she connected those, like, the person she fought in the first episode and the person she fought in the CCT tower, connected those two people, but couldn't put in this other person who she'd already met with the same fucking hair.
And it's Glinda that makes that connection. She says, that sounds like the woman I fought when I met RWBY. RWBY doesn't even do that on her own. It's like, it's so frustrating. It's just plot service is what it is. Poor writing plot service. Patented pair of Clark Kent glasses to maintain anonymity. Yeah, no joke. Face obscured and you can't put two and two. Oh, it's so frustrating. Like, that's not how real life works. But, you know. So, moving on. Talking about Ilya's voice actress. Now, I'm gonna say her name wrong. Her name is Shirami Lee Kuan. I pronounced that wrong, definitely.
Probably.
But she is a prominent anime voice actress, is what I'm trying to say. And she actually voiced Asuna from the English dub of Sword Art Online, which I didn't know because I don't watch English dubs of anime ever, unless it's War on High School Host Club. That's the only English dub I watch. But, yeah, so, yes, excellent voice, really, really good voice for Ilya. Really kind of like,
sweet, but also kind of menacing.
Yes, sweet, but kind of like how I imagined Neo might have sounded, which is interesting. But I imagine Neo might have had a bit of a higher pitch. But I also feel like Jeremy Lee.
Isn't that how you pronounce? Oh.
I also feel like Neo's never going to speak, so I knew I recognised that voice of, Sao, Asuna from Sword Art Online. Yeah, she voiced Ilya so well, and she tweeted about the show a few days ago, and about voicing Ilya. Lucy Hart-Villiers, I haven't seen Fairy Tail. Yeah, there you go. Link that video in the chat box so people can have a look at it if they please. Jeremy's Rolls was a silent character named Euclid. Oh, just for efforts and stuff? Okay, fair enough. The only thing I found annoying about this short was that it has completely confused me about Blake's reason for leaving the White Fang in the Black trailer. Because this conversation that she's having with Ilya here, surely she's heard so many stories just like that from faunus that she knows about the way they're discriminated against and they have to hide from the humans and whatnot. And then in the Black trailer, she just turns tail and runs for seemingly no reason. Now, when the Black trailer, when Volume 1 was all we had seen, her reasons for leaving in the Black trailer were extremely clear, was because Adam was going to kill everyone on the train and she was not okay with that. But now everything we've seen since then is just serving to confuse that even more. Because, like, she is so sympathetic when she hears the story from Ilya. I don't feel like it's reasonable for her to just suddenly decide to leave because Adam's gonna hurt humans, when she has heard so many stories like this about faunus being hurt by humans. Like, not physically necessarily, but emotionally. Like, when she hears the story about the mine exploding, we know that all the workers in the mine were faunus, and some were probably Ilya's immediate family. And the fact that the people Ilya was friends with laughed when they heard about it. Like, little details like that make me go, why on earth would she just suddenly decide to just run away from it all? Seemingly in the heat of the moment.
Well, I think it has to do with, as she talked about with in volume, I think 2 and 3, how, like, Adam, at one point Adam was sort of a good person.
Yeah.
And it just started off as like little things and more little things, and more people kept getting hurt, and she was willing to, like, kind of excuse them as accidents and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could see how, especially since Ilya seemed to be her friend, how in the moment, if she heard at first that that when she broke these kids' teeth, she was or she had just learned that her family had died, and she had suddenly been revealed, or her facade was gone. She was overcome with emotions, like she literally couldn't control herself, like she just turned blue. Like, I feel like I could see how Blake could be like, you were just so caught up in the moment and you hurt them, and and you just, I don't know. I could see how Blake could maybe justify that. She'd maybe be a little bit like about it, but I feel like she could still justify it as, it was an accident. Yeah, you were just caught up in the moment.
I guess maybe it's been, where Adam is concerned, it's a matter of the small little things that he was doing just piled up, and perhaps the Black trailer was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. But I'm just so confused by the fact that Blake decided to run away from all of that, knowing what she does about the way faunus that she personally knows have been treated, like Ilya, for example. But somebody said up there, and they are correct, Ilya as a character didn't exist when the Black trailer was made. So it's the case of, like, Star Wars Episode 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3. They have to suddenly make links to things where the links didn't exist before. So it gets a little, everything gets a little tricky when you do stuff like that. Sorry, there's some kind of sound going on out there.
I could hear that.
But she was in love with him. I don't know.
I don't know if she was.
Adam and Blake's relationship is strange, because I don't know if love was involved, like, or if he's just a creep, or...
Yeah, I mean, I said this in my reaction, is that, like, Blake's past relationships with people are so undefined, and it kind of bothers me, because, like, it's like, was she romantically involved with Adam? Was she not? He clearly calls her my love when they meet up, so he clearly has some very strong feelings for her. So it's like, were they reciprocated for a while? Was it just a friendship? Was he is he a creeper? And I don't know. It's something I really wish they would define. Is like, were they dating? Were they just friends? They've talked before about Adam was her mentor.
Yeah.
And so if they were also dating, that gets into a really kind of creepy thing.
Especially because, like, she was 17 when she left the White Fang.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly 16. So that's disgusting. I don't want to think about it anymore because it makes me do this, like, with my body. It makes me... I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, AC, we all know he's a terrible person, but, like, once again, there was a time, as Blake said, where he wasn't an awful person. Or, she saw him as, like, a visionary.
Mm. Yes, and also he did try to cut her head off, so there's that.
He did cut her head off.
So we're going to wrap... That's everything, basically. So we're going to wrap this up in a minute, but before we do, we're going to talk about predictions for the Yang character short and for Volume 5. Adam is 6 years older than Blake. We don't have an exact number, but he is significantly older than her. And that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Adam is just... The whole thing creeps me out. It all rubs me the wrong way. I think it's supposed to, though, but... He's just creepy. He gives me that creepy sort of serial killer, creepy, obsessive boyfriend vibe, and I don't like it.
Hello, my darling.
Stop it! Stop! That's not nice. Don't do that. Let's talk about Yang short quickly.
Okay.
So, because Weiss's short was entirely a flashback, and Blake's short contained elements of flashback, I'm now thinking that Yang's is also gonna at least contain elements of flashback. Hello, Larissa! You've just caught us just in time for our Yang predictions. I would like to see some kind of Tai Yang involvement in the Yang character short. I don't know about that, though. Yeah.
I mean, I like your idea, AC, but I don't know. What I think it's gonna be, based on what we've seen, is I definitely... What I want is, I want there to be, like, I don't know, it to be kind of showing her on the road to Haven. I want to see her motorcycle and stuff. I want to see her get into a fight.
Yes.
And that while she's fighting Grimm, it doesn't even have to be Grimm, but while she's fighting, she suddenly starts having, like, PTSD flashbacks, and that's what I want the flashbacks to be of.
Of the moment that she confronted Adam and lost miserably. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Or it doesn't even just have to be that moment. It could be like just any other, like, I mean, when she lost to Neo, when she maimed Mercury, like those kind of moments, those like kind of scarring moments for her.
Because
with big focus on Adam.
I don't believe that what happened to Yang is a thing that you just get over, you know? Mm-hmm. I feel like this is going to be an ongoing struggle for her, and I'll be really disappointed if it's not, because it was a significant thing that happened to her as a fighter. To lose a fight so miserably and lose a limb at the same time is scarring, and I don't want her to just get over it, because that's going to be really frustrating if she does, I feel like. And I feel like it's making light of something that's actually incredibly significant. Yeah, it's true that the other flashbacks had been set prior to the trailers. So, but I'm going to agree with Cory, because he's always right. That some kind of PTSD thing. I do, yeah. I mean, I want to see her get into a fight. I want the Yang short to include combat.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Yang properly in combat. It has been a long time. A very, very long time. It's been since episode 6 of Volume 3.
Yeah.
Literally a whole volume and a half ago.
Yeah, I don't know about having, like, more for her looking for Raven, because it's just like, I don't know really what more they could do with that would be interesting.
No.
Because, I mean, like, I guess they could, like, tell us, well, but the reason she found out about Junior was just because he had the reputation of knowing everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I also don't think that the trailer, like William suggested up above, that it'll be like Yang versus Raven's tribe. I don't think that they'll put them into direct combat like now. If they're going to put them against each other, they'll do it later.
I feel like
in Volume 5.
Raven's going to go on the back burner now for a while. Because there was Raven involvement in Volume 4. Yang had a choice to make at the end of Volume 4, Raven or her sister, and she chose her sister. So now I feel like Raven's going to go on the back burner for a bit here. Because there are other things to focus on. See you, Larissa. We're going to wrap this up in like 2 minutes, so you caught most of it. Yeah, I feel like Raven's going to kind of... She'll be back, but there are other things to focus on now. There's,
that would be so cool.
Yeah, it would be so cool, but I feel like it's not going to happen. I feel like Summer is...
Yeah,
she's going to remain elusive for a while yet still.
Yeah, if they're going to do anything related to Summer, they're going to do it in relation to RWBY.
Yes.
Not Yang. It'd be so awesome, because I want to know so much about Summer, but I don't see them doing it.
Oh
I know,
gosh.
Right?
Who was she? I must know.
No.
Yeah. At this point, I'm kind of a bit over Raven, because I just really don't like her as a person. I think she's a piece of shit. So, I really don't care to see more of her at the moment. Especially not in, like, a character short, because you've only got 5 minutes to play with. I want it to focus
that's the thing, is, like...
on Yang.
That's why I feel like it has to be significant. And just with the whole thing of... in Volume 4, they severely missed out on, like, exploring Yang's PTSD. And I feel like this trailer would be a good way to kind of, like... be like, okay, we are going to move forward with Yang struggling with PTSD.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I hope so. I hope we get more of that, because I feel like we were cheated out of it in Volume 4 a bit. They kind of just glossed over the whole thing. Once she got a new arm, it kind of just all went away, and I was like, that's not how trauma works. Trauma doesn't just go away overnight, so... If they make second episode of this volume again, just like last year, I swear to God, I'm going to lose it. Huh? Oh, the second episode. What happened in the second episode of Volume 4? We had Yang, we had Blake. No, that was 3. What was in the second episode? Weiss and Ranger and
Weiss. Then... Oh, it was Pura.
That's right, it was Pura. No.
That's the only episode of RWBY that's ever gotten me to, like, legitimately... Like, even when Pura actually died, I was just so shocked that I just kind of... Nothing happened, but when I saw that one in episode 2, I was just like...
I know, I was a mess. I was like, it's not fair. But when Pura died, I wasn't shocked, because I actually saw it coming. Once I realized that she's going to go back to the tower, I was like, she's dead. That's it. They're going to kill Pyrrha, and I fucking hate that. And then when she actually died, I just kind of went, oh. Because, like, I sort of couldn't believe they actually killed her. And then I didn't end up crying until, like, the credits.
Yeah, oh god, I got close there, too.
I bawled. I bawled when I saw Monty's name in the credits. I was like, that's it! I'm gone! But yeah, I cried so many times in Volume 4. I feel like I got a bit of post-traumatic stress from Volume 3. Volume 4 tugged
they scarred the entire community.
They did. And it tugged at my heartstrings. I cried in Episode 1, Episode 2, I cried in Episode 10, and I cried in the finale. Well, I almost cried in the finale.
Oh, I forgot. Pyrrha's from Mistral.
Yeah.
So there's a chance her parents could be in Haven.
Yeah. We discussed this during Volume 4. We thought we would get to see Pyrrha's family, but it didn't happen yet.
That's true.
They might live in Mistral, so... Because Pyrrha went to Sanctum Academy, which is a combat school in Mistral. So... Yes. What was I talking about? Yeah, I cried in episode 1 when they revealed John's shield. Everything I've cried about has to do with Pyrrha. I cried about that. I cried about the Pyrrha bit in episode 2. I cried in chapter 10 because Boop started playing with little Ren and Nora.
Mm-hmm.
That made me cry. And then I almost cried in the finale, but I didn't because I was in a room full of 500 people and I didn't want to cry. Even though people around me were sobbing. And I was like, don't cry, don't you do it.
With the stuff that William just posted, I just suddenly imagine, like, the last thing that Pyrrha's parents would have seen of her was her ripping a girl up to pieces.
Yeah,
like,
and
granted,
then not
a robot
hearing
girl,
anything since, not knowing
and then
what's happened.
Nothing.
They would have heard about the fall of Beacon as well, so they wouldn't know whether their daughter is alive or not. They wouldn't have a clue. So I reckon along is going to come what's left of Team Juniper and be like, she's dead, and that's going to be devastating.
I know.
That's definitely going to make me cry. I'm going to well up just thinking about it. Yeah, when the cold OST started and Jean, Ren, and Nora all sat down together, that was when I was like, don't cry, don't you fucking dare. There are 500 people in this room, don't do it! Yes, she did die a hero. She, you know, there's been a lot of debate as to whether Pyrrha died for nothing or whether she did die a hero. I think she died a hero because her sacrifice allowed RWBY to unleash her power, which stopped the dragon and disabled Cinder. So, Pyrrha's sacrifice did mean something.
Yeah, I mean, her goal was to stop the fall of Beacon, but that's... I mean, I don't think there was any... Even if she'd managed to kill Cinder.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know if she could have done it then. Granted, then she'd have maiden powers, probably, but...
I feel like the fall of Beacon was inevitable, because Salem's master plan is foolproof, and that is to turn people against each other. People will always turn against each other if given a reason. That's why people war. Because, you know, and her plan is foolproof. I don't see how it's not going to work. But now, since the fall of Beacon, everyone's turning their attention to Haven, people are more aware, and I feel like they're gonna try and stop what's gonna happen, but the wild card in that situation is Professor Lionheart, because we don't understand where his allegiances lie. So,
I know.
obviously they don't necessarily lie with Ozpin and Crow and Glinda and Ironwood, etc. Ironwood's a bit of
because he's the cowardly lion, and he's going to make a deal to try and save his people.
And he's stupid. And
because he's going to turn against people. Because and it's going to backfire.
We can see this coming from a mile away. The true meaning of a hero is to try, no matter what the outcome. As long as you try, that makes you better than the rest, yeah. So, oh my gosh. I'm so sad about Pyrrha. Still.
We need to stop talking about her.
We need to stop. We're going to be a mess next minute. There's going to be tears. It's going to be terrible. Yeah, so I think we should wrap this up before we get too emotional here.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to see in the Yang short? You just said you want to see combat.
That's pretty much all you want to see. I want to see combat. I want to see PTSD. As terrible as that sounds.
I know, but literally the entire fandom was like, oh yeah, Yang and PTSD. It's going to be so interesting to explore in Volume 4. And then Yang got the least screen time and nothing.
I constantly feel like
PTSD.
This show needs so much more screen time to go into the amount of depth that they want to go with it. Like, it needs to be 22-minute episodes like a proper anime.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. But they try to make all of their volumes like movie length, and that's just not enough time.
Exactly.
Even though Volume 3 was 3 hours?
Volume 3 was 2 hours and 47 minutes, I believe. And then Volume 4 was a little less than that. Because Chapter 5 was like 9 minutes long. I hate Chapter 5 of Volume 4. Because I feel like they could have stuck some Yang in there and they bloody didn't. And it's annoying, and it's so short, and it's just all Blake and Menagerie. Blake is such a screen whore. I said, I can see a lot of Blake still being a screen whore in Volume 5, and I'm not up for that. I'm
just hoping that with the fact that they have to get her there, I'm hoping that'll at least buy us some time of, like, the other characters.
Yeah, please, for God's sake, let Blake have less screen time in Volume 5, because she stole the show in Volume 4, and not in a good way. Yeah, and, like, everything Blake was doing in Volume 4 was frustrating. Her whole situation was frustrating. But, yeah, anyway, we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much. Volume 3 was 2 hours and 56 minutes. There you go. So just under 3 hours, not just over 3 hours. Screen time of Blake with Yang. I don't think a Blake and Yang... We talked about this in the Weiss story.
Yeah.
I still don't
We don't know how...
Yeah. See, now
we don't know when they'll reunite.
Yeah, now that we've seen the Blake short, and Blake... I thought Blake would be leaving Menagerie in the short, and she didn't. For me, that pushes her reunion with anyone back at least 1 or 2 episodes further in Volume 5.
Yeah, it's going to be... I mean, like we predicted, they're going to be, like, kind of segmented reunions. And even just, like, they'll see each other, but they'll be so wrapped up in their own things that they have to separate. But it'll just be, they know they're in the city.
Yang and Ranger... I still think will be episode 1. That'll be one of the first things that we see, is that reunion. Then Weiss...
Hell, I could almost see them doing that in this short. Probably not, though. That's probably something they really want to see.
I hope they don't do that. I don't want them to do that outside of show proper. I really don't. Yang punching Blake and then hugging her. I feel like that's going to be pretty accurate. Eat my new fist. Now come here, you dumb bitch.
I know.
Look what you did to me. So I feel like Weiss and Winter reunion episode 1 or 2. Yang and Ranger definitely episode 1. Weiss and Yang and Ranger episode 4 or 5, and then Blake's not coming into it until like episode 10, 11. Easy, like probably 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Well, I think that after we see episode 1 of the season, we'll be able to make much more accurate predictions.
Yes. After
right now, it's so much. Right now, it's so much of like what is happening.
Now, at this point, we have no idea when Blake is heading to Mistral. We don't have a clue. So once we see the first episode, we'll get a better idea of when she's leaving. So we'll get a much better idea of when she's going to reunite with everyone else. No, I doubt that.
I don't think they're going to wait that long. I think that it'd be a disservice to themselves to wait until the final episode. Yeah, until the final episode. I feel like the latest they could push it is episode 11. That's the latest, but they're going to want them all together for chapter 12.
Yes.
Especially because we believe that the end of the season is going to either be the fall of Haven or at least the start of it.
I feel like... I think I said this before, but I feel like this Haven arc is ending at the end of Volume 5. I don't see how they could drag it out another volume. Like, everyone is either in Mistral or heading to Mistral, except for Blake. Yes, we know, William. But they're going to reserve the finale for much more important things than reunions. Definitely. Reunions are all going to happen before the finale. Anyway, we're definitely wrapping this up now because it's 10 o'clock and I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching the podcast. Remember, this is live streamed if you're currently watching on YouTube at twitch.tv/SheNoob087. Link is in the description. Follow us on our Twitters to know when the one for the Yang short will be live streamed. We
subscribe to both of us because we'll do reactions.
Yes. Subscribe to both of our channels because we have currently got reactions to the Blake short. We will be doing reactions to the Yang short and every episode of Volume 5. That we will try to get them out on time. It's not going to happen.
I'm going to be on top of it
we'll
this season.
try.
I swear to God, I will.
Don't say that because you're just going to jinx yourself. I do it
I'm
every time.
Nope, I'm doing it.
I'm stopping making promises about when I'm uploading videos because I never stick to it. I just can't do it for whatever reason. Anyway, we are wrapping this up. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you probably in like a month for the Yang short. Hopefully, not a month.
Yeah, hopefully a little under.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.